Hello, it's a pleasure to speak to you today and convey some of my perspectives on the potential for nuclear power to address the grid of the future. There are many challenges in front of us as we work to enable greater electrification of our economies, including the rapidly rising needs of digital hyperscalers. I am based here in the United States, yet I know that the global climate and energy issues that we all face are the same despite the oceans between us. I was in Korea just a few weeks ago and had the great opportunity to see some of the leading work being done at Kerry. I also connected with KHNP and others who have expert capabilities in technology, manufacturing, and construction. As you may know, TerraPower has several Korean suppliers and investors. It's clear to me that our success is interconnected. I spent my career in infrastructure development and finance, first in investment banking, raising capital for large projects. Later, I worked for a global construction engineering firm, developing, building, and operating assets. My work helped build projects as diverse as roads and power plants and water and telecommunication systems, each a backbone for economic development. It's no wonder then why I was excited to have the opportunity over 11 years ago to join TerraPower. Our company was founded by Bill Gates, and we are innovating in medical isotopes and next generation nuclear. From the beginning, our focus has been on nuclear innovation. Today, we are advancing technologies that deliver emission free baseload energy for the future, and we are enabling targeted alpha therapy to support the next frontier in cancer treatment. We recognize that nuclear energy has made great strides in gaining operations and maintenance efficiencies, elevating safety, and raising capacity levels to well over 80% globally. A perfect example is the notable work that KHNP, along with Korean constructors and equipment suppliers, delivered at Baraka in the UAE. Even with these gains, though, innovation in nuclear has been virtually non existent for many decades. Can you imagine if we had not innovated in telecommunications, transportation, or computing during this same time? It seems inconceivable when we consider the gains made in our connected lives. Most of the 92 nuclear reactors operating today in the United States were built 40 or 50 years ago. Now it's time to change this narrative. TerraPower was very pleased to have won a U.S. Department of Energy Commercial Demonstration Award for our next generation natrium technology. Under this award, we are developing a base load plus storage sodium fast reactor in Wyoming. Following its commissioning in 2030, this plant will replace a mine mouth coal plant owned by PacifiCorp. The natrium technology is designed and engineered as a simpler, passively safe, and smaller option for advanced nuclear. It's one-third the size of Generation 3 nuclear plants, and yet the design still provides the efficient and reliable power that nuclear is well known for. The reactor delivers thermal energy to storage tanks and then onto a turbine island, which together we refer to as the energy island. Natrium's energy island is a flexible energy source capable of ramping up electricity when renewables are unavailable, making it an ideal fit for grids with higher concentrations of renewable energy. The plant therefore provides both baseload and load following energy. To achieve the same amount of power that the nuclear plant, Natrium, will deliver on just 44 acres of land, a comparable solar farm would require thousands of acres. This is due to the energy density benefits of nuclear. One of our PhDs calculated the amount of energy in one nuclear fuel pellet from today's reactors. It's about 3/8 of an inch in diameter and 1 inch long. She found that nuclear fuel is 2 million times more dense than traditional fuel sources like coal, oil, or natural gas. For scale, it would take 22 tons of coal, 4,000 gallons of oil, or 590,000 cubic feet of natural gas to get the same amount of energy as one nuclear fuel pellet. And the density has only further maximized with the addition of advanced computing that didn't even exist during the first renaissance of nuclear energy development. We are now developing a reactor and its design that can more efficiently and safely harness this power for a carbon-free future. When we think about energy supply and distribution in the future, we see a consensus that the grid of the future must have at least 20 or 30% nuclear energy to remain viable. Baseload power stabilizes the grid so we can adopt intermittent sources of power such as renewables. Today in the US, about 60% of the baseload power is provided through burning fossil fuels. The balance is split between nuclear and renewables. If we are to transition to clean energy, nuclear will need to be a material part of the solution. It is clean, abundant, carbon-free, that is always available, and includes a service lifespan of up to 80 years. But we know that developing next generation nuclear energy is very challenging. Our chairman and founder, Bill Gates, has even said that solving climate change is the hardest thing that mankind has ever attempted. Here in the US, following decades of flat or declining load growth, we are now anticipating a significant increase in electricity demand. AI, onshoring of manufacturing, battery plants, semiconductor fabrication, transportation, and more are driving growth by 2.5 times the current supply over the next 25 years. The near-term growth forecast has doubled from 2.5% to just over 5% in the past year. Compounding this challenge is the need to meet net zero goals. You likely noticed that 25 nations last year at COP28 announced their desire to triple nuclear. We expect to see more and related announcements at Climate Week here in New York. Data centers that support AI are among the largest source of future demand. Today, the U.S. hosts about half of the global data centers, accounting for just under 5% of domestic electricity consumption. We expect the share of electricity consumption to grow, given that new AI data centers require 5 times more energy than conventional data centers. It may not surprise you to know that data center owners have begun to hire nuclear talent. This makes sense when you consider that one of the leading global data centers has indicated they will need 1 gigawatt of new power annually to support their growth. And if they were to build a data center cluster, they would need 5 gigawatts of power. Power reliability is essential for data centers, and data center owners have declared their intention to incorporate carbon-free generation into their supply. This race for power and carbon-free power is adding to the confusion of determining rational business models for deploying next-generation nuclear. In all industries, and especially in nuclear, the first-of-a-kind technologies will launch with a green premium compared to nth-of-a-kind. And determining who shares those risks, who pays the first-of-a-kind or the green premium, remain open questions. TerraPower's approach is a public-private partnership with the United States government. We're working together with the utility, and we will replace their coal power. Together, TerraPower and its partner, the United States government, are taking on the economic and technological risks associated with delivering this new technology. PacifiCorp, as the utility, is assuming only a modest level of risk to bring the asset into its regulated asset base. There is great disparity among nuclear reactor developers' timelines, and comparing those to licensing and constructing a plant and the much shorter timeline required to stand up a data center, it's staggering in its difference. This is another area where our technology may be beneficial. We can simultaneously construct our energy island of natrium, that's where the energy is stored in molten salt, and the nuclear island, where the fission reaction occurs, producing heat. This simultaneous construction will shorten overall construction to approximately 36 months. We hear discussion by data centers of a desire to build plants independent of utilities, and others relying on utilities to own the power plants. Where the market lands on this question will take time to develop, but I would expect to see most power plants remaining under utilities ownership, because after all, there is a need for redundant power and its supply for planned and unplanned outages. We also know that data centers generally aren't in the business of operating power plants. What is certain is that industry will need to locate where there is abundant clean energy. A recent example in the United States is Southern Company. They just completed the Vogtle plants. And in the second quarter of 2024, Southern Company reported a 17% year-over-year increase in sales to data centers, and they expect even further growth from similar large load customers. As we talk to the data center owners, we are an attractive solution because we can provide baseload power, helping to stabilize the grid while we support their needs. We can also flex our power rapidly, which traditional nuclear cannot do due to the technical limitations of load response. Major technological advances such as AI will disrupt in ways beyond their voracious need for power. We expect, for example, to see AI offer benefits to the deployment of next-generation nuclear. There may also be the potential for AI data centers to become more efficient energy users over time. I have seen, for instance, the work that SK has underway to advance more energy-efficient chips. We know here in the U.S. that our nuclear regulator, the NRC, is building their AI literacy and seeking ways for AI to improve operations and also the efficiency of the regulatory process itself. Further collaboration examples include researchers who are exploring AI's ability to improve predictions of plant maintenance needs and materials degradation in radioactive environments. Finally, AI is already supporting a smart grid to better balance supply and demand. In a world that incorporates distributed energy resources, AI can help with more efficient utilization of generation. AI can be used to more precisely estimate demand, reduce waste, provide data that leads to more informed consumers of electricity. With these advances, though, we must also consider in a more technologically interconnected environment that there is an elevated need to regulate and safeguard security. Cybersecurity risks will increase. Jensen Huang, CEO of NVIDIA, recently addressed the electric industry, and he referred to data as a national natural resource that needs to be protected and emphasized that if someone can scrape or harvest your data, they can impersonate you, and you may not know the difference. AI and nuclear technology share some things in common. They're both very important. They are heavily regulated and subject to export control laws. Some have suggested that both nuclear power and AI have the potential for great harm as well as great good. I like to focus on the great good, and I am confident in the great potential for advanced nuclear energy. I hope you'll join me and my company, TerraPower, in bringing this potential to life. Thank you for inviting me to be with you today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the Herald Business Forum.